The year is 2026 and Lacy is best known for being an entertaining streamer, pioneering IRL content with the core boys. But it wasn't that long ago that he was a pretty serious Fortnite player. After a few years away from the game, Lacy has officially announced his return. He will be playing NA West FNCS alongside Ark, a former champion. In this video, I'll break down their first ever tournament together to see everything that Lacy's doing right, but also the aspects of his game where he could be improving. But before any of that, let's ask ourselves the question: how good was Lacy before he quit? Now look, there was a time where Lacy was regarded as a pretty competent player, but he was never someone that was at the top of the game. He has about $1,000 earned when you exclude the Pro-Am, and most of this is from Duo Cash Cups in Chapter 4. That year he did actually make the last chance major finals, finishing in 30th. Had he made the top 8 in that lobby, he could have literally qualified for Globals. He played FNCS a bit the year after, but it's fair to say that he didn't exactly have a sparkling career. But let's have it right, he's still a very solid Fortnite player with a ton of experience in the game, and that is something to bear in mind going forward in the video. Now, his duo mate Ark. This is a serious pickup. I mean, we are talking about an NA West FNCS champion, someone who did insanely well at the last Globals. He had the 4th most eliminations, 1st for shotgun damage. He was on fire during that tournament. He was very unlucky to be banned for the most recent FNCS due to an unfortunate administrative error, and that meant he couldn't play at the Summit LAN. And honestly, if you'd gone back 9 months ago and told me that Ark, after doing insane at Globals, would be playing with Lacy, I'd have been pretty shocked. But honestly, this is a huge opportunity. I mean, Ark is getting 50k, he's getting raids, but it's not all about the money. He does genuinely believe they can do well together as a team.
I think we can win.
You did think we can win?
Yeah. All you have to do is just make sure you don't get hit, and then I could win the game by myself.
Now, before I talk about their first tournament together, let's analyse some scrims that they played when they were first starting out as a duo. The single biggest challenge that they will face is the new Storm Surge. The way that Surge is calculated has completely changed. Previously, all that mattered was doing the most damage. Now it's worked out by taking all the damage that you dealt and minusing off from the damage that you've taken, which means that one bad rotate can completely ruin your game, and that is something that Lacy will have to be very aware of, because there were definitely a couple of moments where they were struggling a little bit with the overdrive grenade rotates. They weren't able to stick together, and Lacy will definitely have to recognize that regrouping is an absolute priority. The longer you are in the open for, the longer you are putting yourself at risk of falling below Surge, and that's something that Lacy simply cannot do in the high level lobbies. Here you can see that he leaves himself exposed. He doesn't build. He's in a very dangerous situation. What he should have done is used an overdrive grenade, expended that in order to get back together with Ark. It is worth using it because the risk is too great, and in most Division 1 lobbies you simply can't be getting away with that. Now listen, as these guys develop experience they will gain more chemistry, but for now Lacy does need to be aware of protecting himself on rotates, and that is something that I will discuss later on in the video. Now he is also quite good at following Ark. He does listen to his instructions. He's a very capable support player. There are a couple of times where I would like to see him being a little bit more proactive, like this moment for example, where he actually does a really nice play. He goes into the storm completely unprompted, picks up the mats, and that prolongs their game. Really nice stuff, and that's the exact sort of thing that Lacy needs to be doing way more of, because in Division 1 he will need to contribute with eliminations, with clutch plays, and I do believe he has the potential to do that. And as you can see, they did get a little bit better. Their next few rotations were way more efficient, way more grouped. Their game did end with them being chopped from height due to a pretty weak hold, but that's something that they can improve with time. Now let's get into talking about their first ever tournament together. This was the Divisional Cup. Now they did start off in Division 3, so this isn't exactly the highest caliber of players, but there's still certainly a lot to learn. Besides the expected clip farming, things were very good during this tournament. They won 4 out of their 7 matches. They made 6 out of the 7 endgames. It was really consistent stuff. These results put them in 3rd for day 1, a pretty impressive achievement. Now let's take a look at the games and see what they did well and what they did struggle with. First things first, a lot of this cup was W keying. They were fighting in practically every game, and no shocks, it was Ark that was doing most of the heavy lifting. You can see from the stats on screen that he was the more influential player, but that's to be expected. There's a reason why Lacy's paying him 50k. And to be fair, Lacy did consign himself to the support role. I actually think he played very well during this cup. See how he contributes in the fights. You can see here he's just spraying, doing his job. It's nothing exciting, it's nothing flashy, but it does help them win the fight. He's also not just sitting around during the mid game. When they are boxed up, he's constantly looking around trying to find eliminations, which is exactly what we want to see him doing. And on honestly, this is the key thing with Lacy, and something that I really want to emphasize. He does understand the game so well. He really does get the fundamentals of Fortnite. It's just going to be a case of putting the finishing touches on his gameplay to get him to the top level. With Arc's leadership, they will consistently be in all the best positions, doing all the best rotates. All Lacy needs to know is how to carry himself during those moments, and they can genuinely do well. However, there were some mistakes in this tournament. Let's have a look at some of the times that Lacy did get eliminated. In game 2, they drop at the right side of Heatwave Harbour. They recognise the team is going to the left, but Lacy cannot get down in time, and he does get beamed as soon as he touches the ground. This is just something to bear in mind when landing at this POI. Depending on the direction of the bus path, either the right or left side can be stronger, so Lacy will need to recognise that and modify his drops accordingly. Later in the game, he lacks the awareness to build a wall behind him, not the type of mistake you can be making in those higher divisions. Lacy and Arc only went down once off spawn in this entire cup, but there was definitely a lesson we can learn from it. You can see here that they're in a 2v2, but Lacy runs directly towards the opponent, giving him an easy angle, and that ultimately leads to them going down. You really can't jump in blind like that if you want to be a top player. And this is something that did happen multiple times. Going into the next game, he overcommits here and gets himself lobby sprayed. You have to have a bit more awareness of when to be aggressive and when to sit tight. In this Surge meta, you just can't be taking unnecessary damage. And genuinely, the number one change that Lacy needs to make to his game is to be way more protective on rotates, to simply build more. It is worth the material investment, especially in this current Surge meta. Now, they ended this tournament in absolute style with a 19 kill win and then a 21 kill win, just crazy stuff. Lacy was contributing well. He wasn't doing any fancy fighting or anything like that, but I did like what I was seeing from him. Take this elimination where he creates a nice pinch in the 2v1. The execution isn't perfect by any means, but yet again, he's playing the support role well. He understands what's needed of him. So yeah, there's a couple of things to pick up on, but overall, I really like what we're seeing from Lacy. And this brings us on to the second day. As a result of their third place finish, they were promoted to Division 2, which meant their lobbies got that little bit harder. And inside the first 2 games, this was pretty evident. They went down early twice, although in game 2, they were getting DDoSed. So I think we can cut Lacy a little bit of slack there. Now, in response to their poor start, they did decide to change their drop spot. Instead of going to Heatwave Harbour, they landed at a building to the east in order to exempt themselves from all the off-spawn chaos. They did this a few times during the tournament, and it honestly worked out for them because they won game 3 in absolute style. There was a moment where Lacy did look a little bit shaky, a lack of awareness on height. They did take it late in the game, but he was positioned too low and did get caught off guard. They did go on to win the game anyway, of course, but listen, in the overdrive grenade meta, you simply have to stay higher than that in order to be out of range from potential retakes. It's worth noting that a lot of the time Arc does sit on ultimate height, which mitigates this risk slightly, but it is something that Lacy needs to consider. And actually, a really similar thing happens in game 5, where he again gets damaged on height. Definitely something to watch out for as they progress into the higher divisions. But to be fair to Lacy, awareness is something that you develop by playing the game more, so as he gains experience, I'm sure that's only going to get better. We can learn from a couple of Lacy's deaths. In game 4, he goes down on the backside of zone during a rotation. Honestly, the issue here was a lack of synergy and experience, which, as I've just said, is something that they can hopefully improve on in future tournaments. And then in game 6, they come second. Lacy dies coming out of the storm during the end game. He's double sprayed by a team and can't get back into the zone. It's no worries though, because Arc clutches a beautiful second place. That's exactly what he's there for. And honestly, from this point, this is where things really pick up. They manage back-to-back wins in games 8 and 9. In game 8, they get a fraggy height victory royale. Lacy genuinely does contribute well here with eliminations. Very nice stuff from him. And then in game 9, they're on the mid ground mostly, but they do a nice late height take. Lacy looking very comfortable at this point. Across this cup, they've demonstrated that they can play height, that they can play mid ground, that they can play low ground. They are looking versatile, and that's something that's going to be very important going into West FNCS, because let's face it, they're not going to be taking height every game. In the final game, Lacy does get eliminated because he gets completely lost during this end game. He does look a bit bamboozled, but again, Arc is able to clutch a third place. That's exactly his job, and he is going to keep doing that super well. They do manage a second place overall, which I can't overstate. Is really impressive. I mean, take a look at this list of Central pros that they were able to outplace. This is genuinely good stuff. Of course, Arc did dominate the stats once again, but that's all good. I really did like what I saw from Lacy in this cup, and that brings us on to the question, where does this leave Lacy and Arc, and can they genuinely win FNCS? The FNCS play-ins commence on July the 18th, which gives Lacy and Arc just over a month to play together. Now, there will be 4 divisional World Cup finals between now and then. Lacy and Ark have the chance to qualify for 3 of them. Well, actually, I should say 2 because Lacy will be in the Bahamas for 1 week. But listen, that's an opportunity that they cannot miss. They will really need that practice playing at the high level NA West lobbies, and that will be really beneficial for their FNCS experience. Now, of course, NA West isn't quite as strong as EU or NA Central, but there are still some very, very solid pros that play on the region. We certainly shouldn't be underestimating it. However, I do think there's a very realistic route to finals for Lacy and Ark because there is a finite amount of good players on NA West. It's fair to say that some of the weaker teams in the West Grand Finals aren't at a particularly high standard, and honestly, I do think that Lacy and Ark could pretty easily match them. One potential problem they may face is that because of Lacy's fame, because he is such a big streamer, they may get griefed in finals, they might get landed on. But listen, that is just something that they will have to overcome. They'll have to cross that bridge when they get to it. If Lacy keeps improving at the rate that he is, if he can eliminate some of the errors that he is making, which are honestly understandable at this moment in time, things could be looking very bright. With Ark by his side, they've always got a chance to win a tournament. Could they become the FNCS champions? I'm not ruling anything out.